What do you think? We are under a new regime, under a new administration. I call it it's a new dawn. For us to have more impact in the housing industry, the state government must also be involved. The law is clear. Under the concurrent list, that is where we have the land. And meaning, the governors are the one in charge of land. What I want you to tell me, what do you think, what do you expect from state government now that can help the new minister to survive, to succeed?
I think, again, this is where a lot of alignment of interest will come in. Real estate is very local. So just like you said, the law allows that the governor is in charge of the land in the state. So I think it's about, again, stakeholder management and engagement. I think it's about the new minister reaching out to the governors, to see how they can help. Again, showing them what the benefits are of providing land. Now, what has happened in the past that's been a problem is that when a minister goes to a state government or goes to a state governor to ask for some sort of public-public partnership, what you find is that the governor takes the minister to some remote places without infrastructure.
Yeah, that's what we are saying.
And that doesn't happen.
That's what we're saying.
Because without infrastructure, let me tell you where, and it's really the poor, people at the bottom of the pyramid that suffers this a lot. I'll give you a typical example, and how all of this affects the economics of the common man. If you cite a project in a suburban area where there are no infrastructure, this guy, his job, he needs to travel to work. Now, what happens is that house may be a 5 million naira house, but the money he spent in commuting every day to work and back and for living basic life and necessities adds up to his cost of housing. So really, I think we're at a point where the development at state government level must be integrated. I think urban regeneration is also very key. And I'll tell you some things that I think the Honorable Minister can also push to the state governors. It's where there are developments, especially in urban areas, there can be some sort of cross-subsidy, where if you are developing 100 units, you can ask the developer to develop 70 units at any price that he wants. But at least 30% would be at prices that are regulated, so that those at the lower rung of the ladder will be able to afford this. And so I think a cross-subsidy partnership model would help in working at the state government level. That way, if the state wants to recoup the value of the land, they can recoup it from the market rate housing. But I think they should leave some 20-30% for affordable or those in the low income level.
I think the problem, from my own understanding of this issue, is that the state government don't put any priority on housing. And that's why you see a good number of them don't even sign up to 100 CFO for 4 years of their tenure. And that's why we have a lot of dead assets in the country. I must tell you this, if they understand it clearly, they will have known that housing have a lot of relationship with productivity. They will have also discovered that housing has a lot of relationship with health. So if they've done that, they will have also known that housing has a lot of relationship with economic development. And they can use housing to boost the economy. So the multiplier effect is key. Yes. I think they don't understand this.
So if they don't understand, then what is the role? Which means what you have just said is also just carve out some sort of task for the Honorable Minister. Exactly. And not just for the Honorable, I think it's for
all of us in the sector.
Advocacy, consumer education.
Yes. Cannot be overemphasized.
It's very critical.
It must be given serious attention by the present government.
No, at all levels. Whether it is the person taking the mortgage or whether it is the leader of the state government.
Yes.
Because when you don't know that housing is an economic tool for development, then you will hold on to CFOs. Because when you have dead assets, see, let me tell you what happens. If I have a 600 square meter land, even if it's suburb, and I have a title, right?
Imagine that.
What it means is that I can take that title
to the bank. Yes.
And borrow, even if it's 500,000.
Exactly, and do your transaction.
And be doing my small business.
You get what I'm saying.
So until that understanding, it's nationwide. People will sit there and keep creating. So really, there's a huge task. And that's why we call on people like yourselves, that beyond advocacy, We need to come to a point where consumer education
It's put as a priority.
and the only way to measure that priority is that you would look at the balance sheet of government agencies. There will be a line for consumer education. Because when resources is not allocated, how is it going to be done? So that would be my take in terms of making the governors understand that, look, we need to unlock capital.
So that is the reason why you see them giving them land. You can imagine the last administration that's doing national housing program. Most of the estates were built now in the remote areas. So I was surprised because that was exactly what caused to the problem of Shagari housing. Shagari housing failed because some of those houses were located in the outskirts of the city. We had no infrastructure, no access. We repeated the same thing. Some of the contractors that they awarded this contract to in Kano, in Sokoto, they'll be going back there to remove the iron sheet. They'll be going there to remove the window. So, because nobody wanted. So that's the situation. So, we have to go. I think we have to do more.
No, exactly. Because I'll tell you, how do you locate residential buildings or apartments far away from the economic centers when you have not integrated all other economic activities? If you know what I mean, So people will, and that's why when you try to relocate slum dwellers, wherever you relocate them to, without any economic activity, you find them coming back
Exactly.
to take up the place. Absolutely. That's what happens.